Hi, everyone. Welcome to Inside the Block, sponsored by Roomright Group Solutions. My name is Lon Hudman. I am your host today, and I am joined by three excellent panelists that I'm excited to hear from and learn more about their properties and their business and what they're doing in the hospitality industry. And just so you know, Inside the Block is a monthly webinar where we bring together insiders, executives, experts in the hospitality industry, and we discuss issues that we're confronting pretty much universally in that industry. So let me introduce you to our panelists. First of all, we have Jasmine Seliga, who is the founder and CEO of Affixify. So tell us a little bit about Affixify, Jasmine.
Hey, Lon, thank you so much. And thank you guys for having me. It's very humbling to be able to be on Inside the Block. I'm a huge fan of Roomright. Teresa's been a friend of mine for a long time. So, Affixify, really quick, because I don't want to put anyone to sleep on their lunch hour, but we are a unbiased technology research platform that helps hoteliers make tech decisions without any opinions. So we just take all of the data in the market right now on all of the tech that's, that we have available. And we help the hotelier determine based on their needs, hey, what is the best fit for you? It just takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. So you could consider it like decision support in technology and partnerships. And then we also have a vendor management tool to help manage all of those vendors, within the organization. So that is what we do. And on the side, I'm a mom of three little boys. So I'm a busy person right now.
Yeah, sounds like it. All right. Well, welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you.
We also are joined by Fabio Passos, and Fabio is the owner of QDI Hotels, and that includes the next hotel we're going to talk about. But tell me a little bit about QDI Hotels, Fabio.
Yes. How are you? And first of all, thank you for having me here. We basically own a few hotels down here in Florida. We have independent, we have Hilton Hotels, we have Choice Hotels. Basically, we also we are originally from Brazil, so where we have hotels down there too. So that's pretty much it. You're trying to survive in this crazy world here. We are in this business for 15 years. We originally came from real estate, where we develop a residential, commercial, shopping malls, and all that stuff. But here in the US, we are focused on the hospitality business. Pretty much, guess what? What the high tech involves, the way all this thing evolved, shaped the way the type of real estate we're gonna focus on. We can talk about this later. I'm also a father of two boys, which is, I don't have a girl. So unfortunately, nobody will bring me, my cigars when I'm in jail. So that's how we're gonna do.
All right. Well, we're so glad that you've joined us, and I look forward to hearing your insights as we talk about some of the issues. And speaking of hotels that are part of the QDI group, okay, one of them is in St. Augustine, and so we are joined by Tracy Wood, who's the general manager of that hotel. It is the Hampton Inn by Hilton in St. Augustine. So welcome, Tracy. Tell us a little bit about your property. What's exciting about staying at the in St. Augustine at that Hilton hotel?
Well, thank you very much for having me. We are here off of I-95, so we have a lot of travelers that stop by. And they have right here, just right across the street, we have the outlet malls. We're about 10 minutes from downtown historic district that they could visit, like the oldest town in the country, and just do all kinds of fun stuff down there. They've got Fountain of Youth, they've got the old jail, they've got the lighthouse, and of course the beaches.
Yeah. Well, I have never been to St. Augustine. I've been to most places, but I've never been to St. Augustine. And I know Teresa, who is the founder of Roomright, talks about it all the time. She loves St. Augustine. She keeps trying to get me to go. And if my wife had been here and heard about the outlet mall, when you talked about that, we would be on our way right now. That was a key selling point. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Today's discussion is going to center around kind of workforce issues and what are the challenges that we're facing when it comes to workforce, employing new employees, finding talent, retaining talent. And in fact, that's my first question. What would you say, all of you, what is the biggest workforce challenge that is facing the hospitality industry today? And let's start with you, Jasmine. What do you think the biggest challenge is?
So I had a chance to really think through this, of course, as pre-show and things like that. And the thing I come back to naturally is that there's two things that come to me. One is I think, a bit of it's a heavy lift right now. And of course, I'll take a tech angle on it, but we're asking our people to not only provide incredible service, but also learn lots of systems. I call that being tech stack heavy. I think we're in an environment where, it's not just learning the PMS now. There's a lot of moving parts. And so it's asking a lot of our staff, right, to come on board, learn the tech. And the adoption rates right now are actually strikingly alarming. They're pretty low on a lot of tech pieces within the hotel. And then the other thing, which is not tech related, and I'd love to hear, of course, from Tracy and Fabio, if you agree, it seems that I'm hearing a lot about, I hear a ton of people saying, I can't find a good job. And then a ton of people saying, we can't find a good employee. So finding that fit, I think, is also a challenge. And I can't say I know the solution to that, but those are the two challenges that I would bring to the table, that I've noticed from my perspective.
That's interesting. So you're hearing a lot of people looking for work in the hospitality industry and a lot of people in the hospitality industry looking for employees, but somehow they're not matching up. They're not connecting. All right. What do you have to add to that, Fabio?
Well, I would say that probably, Trace in that perspective, she's the one, behind the counter. So she is really, attuned to the, she's interviewing the people that she's hiring. But overall, what I'm perceiving, and I agree with Jasmine, and adding a little bit is, from the employer perspective nowadays, I think the type of skills that we need nowadays, we need skills that is more, advanced, AI driven, someone who handles all this technology that's coming and shaping all the forms right now. But at the same time, so we have a lot of people trying to apply. But to find people with exactly skills, that's really hard to find. That's something that, so I think this type of constraint dichotomy that we have right now, as you described, is pretty much what we find. We need to hire. We know that we need. Can we find the people? Not necessarily.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I don't think that's unique to the hospitality industry. I think a lot of industries are finding the same issue. All right, so we saved the best for last, Tracy. As Fabio said, you're the one on the front lines. You're the one who's actually doing the hiring and the interviewing. What are you finding when it comes to challenges that you're facing?
A lot of people put in applications that aren't qualified. They're looking for jobs, but they're not qualified. Yes, I'm willing to train somebody that has a job, a good work ethic, but they're not putting in, those people aren't putting in for applications. I need people that want to learn, know what they're doing, how to want to learn, basically. And they're just not putting in the applications. They're not applying.
Okay.
And can I ask a question to Trace? I would say that it's something that sometimes we try to pose and say, hey, this is Gen Z, Gen X, and all that stuff. This is all over the place, right, Tracy? You'll find the same profile no matter what generation it comes, right?
It's not age specific, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's correct. It's across the board.
All right. Well, let's stay with you, Tracy, because the next question I wanted to get into was, as it's more and more difficult to find qualified employees, and for other reasons, maybe budgetary reasons, a lot of hotels are reducing the number of staff. And maybe it's because of technology. Maybe technology is helping them to not have as many employees, okay? But when you reduce the staff, that puts an extra burden on the employees that are there. How do you balance that extra effort or work that you need from the qualified employees without overburdening them and making them burned out?
And that's a tough one because you've got to get the work done, and it has to be done. My employees, I'm grateful. They're great. They work with me. If I ask them to do something, or even if I start doing something, they will stop me and say, no, I can do that for you. Because I will pitch in a lot of times. But I'm very grateful for them. I appreciate them, and I let them know that.
That's awesome. Anyone have anything to add to that?
Fabio?
Anyone?
Fabio,
Not,
you had the great answer.
Move on.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true, and I believe that I would the following point. I'd say that we are in this middle of transition that that we still do the things manually, but at the same time, technology did not reach the point that we would like, and we complete. But hospitality, let me tell you, we always will be about people. And as soon as you try to, save money with that, that's when you see your reviews going down. That's when you see your, even situations, situations like lawsuits that you receive because there is an altercation between your front desk and someone. It happens, especially when I have a portfolio. That's something that I tell my people, hey, we need to expect that something is going to happen today, because with multiple properties, everything happens at least once per day. So that's something that we really had to be, and the only way you can do this is to have qualified people in your place.
No, that's great. And, that kind of leads into the next question that I want to talk about. And that is that obviously we have to acknowledge AI, and it's quickly becoming a part of the overall hospitality conversation. And where are you seeing the most practical applications of AI in your business? Now, let's start with you, Jasmine, because this is where you excel. You're on the tech side. Where are you finding that AI is working well within hotels and the hospitality industry?
I have an interesting, this is a topic almost daily for me, and so my answer is going to be interesting, and I'm going to back into it. But what I tell hoteliers, because we're talking constantly, helping them navigate tech decisions, is it's less about, is this an AI tool? We call that shiny object syndrome, right? We all know that term. It's more about, is this solving an operational efficiency or a problem that you need solved at your property? And so to me, I can't say like this system or this thing. It's, what is AI doing to help your staff, right? So we're talking about smaller teams, rising costs. Like, is this helping your staff be more guest facing? Is this helping, to Tracy's point, your staff feel empowered to do their actual job? Solves a problem. I think take anything that takes the mundane tasks that are also susceptible to human error. That's a win, and let AI handle that so that your people can do what they got into hospitality for. I rarely meet, and I'm happy to hear everybody's opinion, but I don't meet a lot of hoteliers that say like, I started this because I'm really intrigued by tech and AI, right? They got into hospitality for an experience and a love of people. We have to deal with the tech side. So my opinion is, if an AI tool is helping you solve an operational problem and it empowers your team, that's a good tool. And you can see that, across the board. You can see that with guest services apps. You can with maintenance and operational apps that really help the back end. That we now have predictive technology that can help predict a maintenance issue before it happens in the hotel, so that you're, saving that guest experience. I mean, you name it. But I think you have to ask yourself, is it just something I'm investing in because it says it has AI in the product name? Or is this actually helping empower my team, my staff, and ultimately the guest experience?
Yeah, that's a great point. Tracy, Fabio mentioned that you cannot lose the human touch when it comes to hospitality. And if you do, you're going to see your reviews and everything else suffer. So how do you balance incorporating AI into your business? Or have you seen an ability to use AI to make the employees more accessible and more able to provide that human touch with the guests?
Not quite yet. I know that we're going to have some AI introductions here shortly, and I'd love to see what they have for the hospitality industry. I just don't know where it's going to fit in, because the personal touch is what's needed. If you read my reviews, it's all about my guest experience with the front desk. They rave my front desk staff.
Yeah, and I don't
So,
think you can replace that. I don't think anyone can afford to replace that personal touch. But hopefully there's AI can take away or do some of the, like you were saying, Jasmine, some of the mundane tasks that allows and frees up the front desk staff to be more accessible and available for the guests. On a personal note, my hardest, my biggest difficulty with AI was that I graduated with a minor in English, and so one of my skills was always writing. Okay, and so in my job, I'm finding that I want to write, and I'm kind of I'm kind of bugged by the fact that AI is so good at writing things. But then what I'm finding is that I could spend a lot of time writing emails or scripts for my employees or stuff like that, where I'm better spending my time doing something else. And this is what I'm trying to get at. Perhaps AI can help us, free us up to be more personal with guests and people that are attending hotels. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that, Fabio?
Well, I have I have something, but I would like to ask Tracy, where are you gonna be Monday and Tuesday?
With the AI meeting, that's why I'm saying I love to fit in. I love to
we have a seminar where all our GMs and our team, sales, marketing, we are regrouping here in our property in Orlando, and yes, we're gonna do a full session of seminar, and exactly what Tracy is doing. I think I try to be an early adopter, but so far I think I can have two perspectives on AI, and both are pretty damn good. By the way, I think one is to increase the efficiency the way you do it. On the property level, actually, it's the opposite. It will generate way more time so they can focus on the guests. And Monday and Tuesday, we're going to discuss a little bit on how we can implement that, Tracy. That's number one. On my side here too, on the management side, when while we're talking here, just pop up here to me, my reports they are coming back. AI generate everything. How was yesterday? If we had all the issues that we have, just pop up here. And again, I'm not doing this anymore. They are doing the AI is doing this for me. So I have this time here to have discussions and all of it. But I think that will be something that's way more transformative in the AI industry, especially with the hospitality. I believe that if you take a look at what happened since the internet revolution, in 1996, 1999, brands like Hilton, Marriott, and all those guys, they were the big things. And all of a sudden, came out those Expedia, Booking.com. If you take a look nowadays, a company, the largest hotel group in the world, Hilton, has a market cap of $60 billion. Okay? Booking.com, which is an intermediate, just made transactions electronically, worth $180 billion. It's 3 times more than Hilton, who has 20,000 buildings under it. So it gives a sense where this thing went. But with the AI, and I've heard another stats, nowadays 53% of the guests are using ChatGPT to make a kind of a search.
Mm-hmm.
So brands now, they have the opportunity to be the ones who owns the narrative again. Nowadays, it doesn't matter what Hilton says or Marriott says. If you go to Expedia in a place like and you have a good review or a bad review, it doesn't matter if you're a Waldorf Astoria or Ritz-Carlton or it doesn't matter. It's what's written down there. Nowadays, AI can have the chance to bring this back to the hotel, to the brand back. So I think that will be transformative in that regard.
Huh. That is an excellent point, something I hadn't thought of. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, so now I want to get back. Tracy, you talked a little bit about the difficulty in finding employees that have the right skills. What are the skills that you're looking for when you are interviewing and hiring new employees?
Well, it depends on which position, right?
Right.
Like if you're looking for housekeepers, of course, they've got to have janitorial, housekeeping. They've got to have the background for that. And they've got to be able to do it at a high efficiency, especially with Hilton standards. Front desk, they've got to have people skills. They've got to have computer skills. They've got to be able to count money. I actually hired somebody, he didn't know how to count money. Come to find out. And it's like, I had to teach this guy how to count money.
Yeah, that could be a problem at the front desk.
Yeah. And it's like, that's a new question that I put out at interviews now, because they're not teaching that in school apparently now. No. That and how to write.
Huh.
So it's kind of tough on what's going on with how they're being taught and what they have done in the past. And then you have the ones that are hopping job to job every 2 to 3 months. And it's like, you've got to weed those out.
Are you finding that's more and more common, that they're just...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So Jasmine, you talked a little bit about, the different technologies that people are familiar with. Okay. So when it comes to skills, where do you see most new employees just entering the job market? Where are they lacking when it comes to technology?
It's a little, I mean, if we're being honest, if they're just entering the job market, they're probably of a generation that grew up, with a phone in hand, just totally transparent. They may not be the ones lacking. Now, of course, there's a learning curve with technology that they're not familiar with. I think that if tech adoption is such that the user interface is one that's familiar to human psyche, that's actually not where I personally think, this is more of an opinion because I'm hiring on a startup level, right? Like we want people that are flexible, fast moving, but in a hospitality sense, my opinion is it actually may be those that don't have the tech background or didn't grow up with a phone in hand and don't have that general quick understanding. I'm right in the middle. I'm a millennial. So like we had a house phone. We did not have cell phones, but at the same time, I've had a cell phone in my hand for, 3 decades. So I think it's somewhere in between. I do think from a tech skill set, just being flexible and willing to learn, counting money, probably a different concern to me. That's like, I'm making
it should be a basic, right? It should be a basic skill,
I'm like,
right?
Make sure my kids know that. But from a tech perspective, I don't know, maybe an unpopular answer, but I think just the willingness to learn and really empowering your team with the resources to be able to learn that tech, whether that's extra training, and investing. There's consultants that help come in and do that implementation work. I think it's really more about flexibility and attitude than it is just totally understanding tech from the get-go. You do have to have baseline knowledge though.
Right. So. Well, we don't have a lot of time left, but so I want to get to our final question. And that is, if you were to just have change one thing in the hospitality industry, what change would you make, or you would suggest that a hospitality leader makes to build a stronger, more resilient, more efficient, more successful team? Let's start with you. I mean, Fabio, you may not be looking for the people that are the hospitality or the housekeeping people, but you are looking for people like Tracy. So how are you doing that? And what are the main things that you would tell someone like Tracy to help her build a successful and efficient team?
I think the way I set this up is the way that we should set up for the whole structure. To be very frank, nowadays, it's so fast to learn. Before you need, I need a graduation here, Harvard here, Harvard there, whatever. I don't buy this anymore. That's where I grew up. That's how it was. Nowadays, when I saw, I was top graduating in one of the best schools down there in Brazil. Nowadays, everything that I had in my courses in YouTube actually way better explain it, to be very frank. Huh. So my point is, where I focus is values. What the set of values that I want in a person. One of the values must be willing to learn new things. The only constant that we have is change. So we need to be prepared to learn, because what you know today will be different tomorrow. If the person is willing to change and willing to learn, guess what? AI, whatever it comes, we will learn. We will learn this together. So that's, for me, it's pretty much what I look for the people that I'm hiring.
All right, that is a great answer. Okay, Tracy, anything to add to that?
No, mine's the same. It's basically the willing to learn. I have to have people in here that want to learn and continue to learn, because everything does change constantly, especially with Hilton.
Okay. So, Jasmine, if there's a young person just out of school looking for a job in the hospitality industry, they're watching this video, do you agree with Fabio and Tracy? The most important thing is just a willingness to learn, or do you have anything else to add to that? What should they be doing to prepare for a job in the hospitality industry?
Willing to learn, roll up your sleeves, and humility. I mean, I'm trying to instill that in my own kids right now, is don't enter into situations, thinking you know best, you know it all, or that you're the smartest. I mean, I have one of my children really believes that, and I'm like, it's humility, guys. It's being, yes, willing to learn, willing to be wrong, and willing to also get excited about potential, but knowing you're not going to meet your top potential day one, or probably even in your 20s. So I think it's that. And then one more thing that comes to mind, just as far as what great leaders can do. I had the best CEO out of college. He hired me for an internship 2 days after I graduated from Baylor University, and I stayed on with him through VP. I mean, he just took a chance on me. And he always said, hire good people and get out of their way, and let them, thrive, and let them do their thing. And that's a great testament to not micromanaging and really trusting your people once they're trained, right? So that comes to mind as well.
That is great. And I think we're all looking for employees like Tracy was talking about, where when she tries to step in, they're like, hey, we got this. We're okay. We can take care of this. Anyway, thanks again, everyone, for joining us on Inside the Block. I really appreciate all of your insights. And I would just close with kind of echoing what Fabio said, is be willing to learn and recognize that things are going to change. The way things are right now, it's going to be different a year from now, 5 years from now. So just be willing to adapt. And I think if we all do that, and we are, ready to take on any challenges that come our way, we're all going to be able to be successful, and we're going to be able to help this industry grow. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. And we'll see you next time on Inside the Block.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a great day.